So Hyundai has just released the full packaging and pricing guide for the upcoming refreshed 2025 Ioniq 5. And in today's video, I want to go over exactly what is changing across every single trim level within the lineup, including the all-new XRT. Go over some of the hardware improvements that have been made, including the larger battery packs and, of course, the NACS charge port. And then finally cover the new colors being added, as well as the full exact pricing information and what you can expect to pay for the 2025 model versus that of the outgoing 2024s. So as many of you guys might know, the 2025 Ioniq 5 will be the first vehicle that is produced from the Metaplant down in Georgia, which Hyundai has fast-tracked over the last couple years to get online, get EVs into production, so they can at least partially and or fully eventually qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit. Now, the Ioniq 5 is in production, I'm told, as of me filming this video, and that is on track because Hyundai says these vehicles will be at your local dealership by the end of 2024. And then the Ioniq 9 3-row fully electric SUV, which hasn't technically been fully announced and revealed yet, will be the second vehicle that will enter production sometime in 2025. So pretty cool that the Ioniq 5 will be built here in the United States in most of its trim levels. But I first want to go through the trim walk, what the availability will be for 2025 Ioniq 5s. Then we'll go over the powertrain information, some of the updated hardware and range figures for this next model year, and then we'll dive into the specific trim levels and pricing towards the end of this video. So starting out with the trim walk, the 2025 will be sold in the same exact trim levels as the 2024 and previous model years, with the addition of XRT. So you have the SE standard range, which is a rear-wheel drive only smaller battery pack. Then you have the full-size battery pack SE and rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. SEL rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. XRT is going to be a dual-motor all-wheel drive trim only, and then the Limited will carry over in a rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive format with those updated battery packs. Now, in terms of powertrain and output from the motors, I think this is going to be mostly a carryover. Obviously, Hyundai probably did make some tweaks to the, some of the hardware, motor output, stuff like that. But it lists the exact same output at 225 horsepower for the standard range, the long range rear wheel drive models. The standard range gets a slightly less powerful rear motor, and all wheel drive equipped models will be 320 horsepower, and I assume the same 444 pound-feet of torque. So output, all of that remains a carryover. But of course, the big news with the Ioniq 5 is going to be the addition of the NACS charge port on the vehicle itself. So this will be the first production vehicle outside of Tesla's that I'm aware to get the NACS port on the vehicle itself, and this will enable immediate access to Tesla superchargers as of the vehicle as this launch, and at least that is what according to Hyundai says, and they will be providing an NACS to CCS adapter with every 2025 Ioniq 5, so you can still use the high power CCS charging, which is actually where you'll find the fastest charge speeds from this vehicle. Now, in terms of those updated battery packs, I did just mention 63 kilowatt hours is going to be the standard base battery pack on the SE standard range, and 84 kilowatt hours is going to be the new long range or the largest battery pack offered, which is about a 5 to 6 kilowatt hour increase on the lower battery pack and about a 7 kilowatt hour increase on the higher end of things. And of course, that is going to be the same battery pack that's currently in the 2025 Ioniq 5N, which I did just post, and or those videos are just coming up here on the channel. I'm not sure where this video will fit in, but yeah, just keep an eye out for Ioniq 5N content coming very shortly. But great to see that Hyundai has increased the capacities, which translates into longer range across the board. Now, I'll have this information and chart up on the screen so you guys can take a look. But anyways, SE standard range will now be rated at 245 miles of EPA estimated range. The long-range rear-wheel drive vehicles will be 318 miles, up from 303 miles. And the SE and SEL all-wheel drives will be rated at 290 miles, XRT 259 miles, and Limited all-wheel drive 269 miles. So pretty good improvements, less than 20 miles across the board, but still a significant enhancement given that larger capacity. And nice to see that XRT with the all-terrain tires is still going to be a fairly decently, sizable range. Much greater than that of the Ioniq 5N, but certainly much less than that of the standard vehicles with, of course, more efficient tires and whatnot. Now, not diving into the NACS charging situation in this video, but essentially due to the onboard, converter, the voltage booster, if you will, inside of these vehicles, they will be limited to slower charge speeds on Tesla's superchargers network because of the 500 volt limitation on most of their hardware currently available. So this vehicle will be limited to maybe just over 100 kilowatts of charge speed on Tesla's supercharger network, whereas on, of course, high power CCS charging, you're going to probably see 270 kilowatts with the larger 84 kilowatt hour battery pack, much like that of the Ioniq 5N. So it is great that they're opening up the network, but just note, if you're planning on using Tesla supercharger network, it will provide slightly slower speeds than that of, much of the other CCS hardware that's currently available. And again, an adapter will be included according to Hyundai. Now, next, I want to dive into the feature and trim differences if you guys are wondering about that. And this will be compared to 2024 model year vehicles. Although, if you are aware of what Hyundai used to offer for 2022 and 2023, some of these features are actually returning to their respective trims that Hyundai did strip away for 2024. So starting out with the base entry-level SE standard range, every single Ioniq 5 will have these features. So you're going to gain things like forward attention warning, steering hands-on detection, parking distance for the front as well as the back. That was formerly standard only on the rear, but now front and rear parking sensors are standard. You have a new terrain drive mode, rear window wiper, fold flat passenger seat, which is an all-new feature across the board. Pretty cool to see that. Hyundai says it will allow for longer items to be hauled inside the vehicle. You have Smart Cruise Control 2 standard. Level 1 charge cable is now returning to the standard feature list. Expanded over-the-air software updates for some of the control modules as well as the map and multimedia. Wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and USB-C charge ports on the interior, replacing the formerly standard USB-A. So all those are going to be standard on every single Ioniq 5, including that base entry-level standard range model, which is great to see. Now, the only feature that I was able to find that the base model loses is the blind spot collision avoidance assist. This is going to be standard on SEL trims and higher now for 2025. Now, moving up to that SEL trim, this is going to gain advanced rear occupant alert, projector LED headlights, which are a returning feature from the early model years, power folding side mirrors, acoustic laminated rear side glass, roof rails, H-Tex leatherette seating surfaces, 8-way power passenger seat, rear AC vents, heated rear seats, and Digital Key 2.0 Premium, which is an enhancement over the former Digital Key 1.0. So all of these are going to be found on SEL trims, which, like I said, some of these features are returning that were previously standard on SEL for, say, 2022 and or 2023 model years. So great to see that. The SEL is not losing any features that it previously had. Next up, coming to the fully loaded limited, we have steering wheel LED system, e-active sound design, as well as remote smart parking assist 2 are all going to be features that are enhanced and or added to the limited over what it currently offers. So not too much added to the limited, but overall, we'll be gaining some of those lesser features. I assume the passenger folding seat either will be on the all models or maybe on the standard models, given the fact that it does have the manual passenger seat. Not exactly sure as far as that goes. I will have to look into that. Now, then there is going to be the XRT, of course, which is an all-new trim level. It sits between the SEL and the Limited. It gets a lot of the same features as the Limited, including the sliding center console, the Bose premium audio, and a couple of the more advanced features, but unfortunately, it will not get everything that that vehicle has, including heads-up display and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking to go off-road or want a slightly more equipped model than that of an SEL, the XRT is going to be an available trim level. Price between the two and features are going to be based between the two as well. Now, next up, I want to talk about the colors being added to the lineup. There are going to be 5 new exterior colors being added, but this is a little bit of a puzzling decision by Hyundai because of their availability and or the types of colors that they are. So the colors being added to the lineup are Atlas White Matte, Celadon Gray Matte, Ecotronic Gray Matte, Ultimate Red, and Cosmic Blue Pearl. Now, in terms of their availability, again, I'll have this up on the screen. Ultimate Red and Cosmic Blue Pearl are listed as XRT only colors. Now, if this is truly the case, this is going to be very disappointing because Ultimate Red is a fantastic color within Hyundai's lineup, and I'm interested to see what Cosmic Blue Pearl actually looks like. But to limit those two to only XRT, that is a big miss in my opinion, and we'll have to see if that is actually going to be the case and the order guide is correct, or if there might be a mistake on the order guide. But the other three matte colors are going to be available on SEL trim levels and higher. And overall, there's going to be, I think, 4 or 5 total matte colors available, and similar amounts of regular painted exteriors. And again, I'm not sure how many people out there are actually wanting the matte exteriors, but Hyundai seems to be going deeper into the matte color or matte paint world than I would believe a lot of people out there do want. But at the end of the day, that's a subjective thing, personal preference. But I do know, at least around here in the Midwest, a lot of people are shying away from those matte exteriors. And to limit 2 new regular paint colors to only XRT is a little bit unfortunate. Now, finally coming to the pricing information, which you guys are probably most curious about. The SE standard range is now going to start at $43,975, including destination. SE rear-wheel drive is $48,075. SE rear-wheel drive is $50,975. XRT all-wheel drive will come in at $56,875. And limited rear-wheel drive will come in at $55,675. And as you can see, everything but the SEL is going to be a $700 increase over the 2024 model year, and the SEL will be a $2,100 increase over the previous 2024 model year. And overall, I think it's okay, the $700 increase, all things considered. Given the features and stuff that they are adding to the lineup, including the new larger battery packs, the NACS charging, etc. But to see a $2,100 increase on the standard or the SEL trim is a little bit unfortunate because it's really not gaining a ton of features. Some of those are returning from the 2022 model year, for example. But I think in the world of price increases, people don't want to see that, especially on electric vehicles. And I really wish Hyundai would have kept the pricing a little bit similar to that of what it was for 2024, or heck, even decrease the price while adding additional content to make it even more competitive within the market. But just note, that is the pricing for 2025, at least as of me filming this video. Now, speaking of pricing, you're probably curious about this point, whether or not this vehicle will qualify for the federal tax credit. And I'm happy to say that Hyundai has said that every 2025 Ioniq 5 produced from the Metaplant will qualify for half of the $7,500 federal tax credit, which is $3,750 for a purchase. And if you're looking at leasing the vehicle, it will qualify for the full $7,500, as Hyundai will pass that along, of course, taking the credit themselves and then passing out to you for subsidized lease payments. So, you will get at least half the credit, which is a nice new benefit to people out there. But Hyundai has been offering the $7,500 incentive for purchasers of the vehicle for quite some time. So you're really not going to see a huge difference, but it will be interesting to see how they play out with incentives over, the next year or two, once these vehicles are out and readily available on dealership lots. Overall, very interesting changes across the board. I think really most of them are for the benefit of the end user, including the larger battery pack, NACS charging, and some of the other feature and option packaging tweaks. Although I think there's a couple standout features, including those color availability, and the NACS charging obviously being a little bit on the slower side of things, which again, I'm not going to dive into too much here in this video, but there are other videos out there on YouTube. Yeah, overall, you guys love to let me know your thoughts and opinions with all of the changes coming to the 2025 Ioniq 5 down in the comment section below. Love that they're being produced here in the United States. Should mean turnaround time from production to arriving at dealership should be much quicker than that of being shipped over from overseas. I've seen stuff coming out of Alabama within 2.5 weeks. So if that's the same rough timeline in terms of transportation, these vehicles should be, being pumped out and available very, very quickly upon coming off the production line. But of course, I'm looking forward to the new CCNC infotainment hardware for the infotainment. The revised center console buttons and all of that on the interior should make it much more easy to use on a daily basis. And yeah, I think the expanded feature list on those lower trim levels is going to be a benefit as well. But like I said, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. As always, I appreciate continued support here on the channel. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to check out additional content, including that 2025 Ioniq 5N content coming very, very shortly. With all being said, I hope to see you guys in the next one.